what does success look like for Cheat Sheet and for the morning show?
That's a really good question. So for me, success looks like building that relationship with viewers. It's something that I think is a privilege that you never really forget, that people are choosing to spend time with you. Like in the morning in particular, when you're kind of like brushing kids' teeth and running for trains and, you know, trying to work out where your keys are, to give part of your time to us, whether it is through a podcast, whether it's TV, whatever, that is success. And it also, if you kind of build that bond with people who kind of basically make us part of a routine, then it's something really, really special. That's why TV is so magic, really.
I agree. And I think, you know, we're both like really passionate about the stories we cover. And I think it's very rewarding if on a topic you care a lot about, you can help other people understand it, or give them a little fact or a nugget on that topic that they hadn't learned before, or a really revealing interview with the people that matter in their lives, politicians or business leaders.
So you've obviously got like a really loyal kind of audience, and I was just wondering, what do you think your followers want to see?
For me and my audience, I think specifically it's around language. When serious issues around women's health or gender-based violence arise, I feel like sometimes the language that is used can be minimised, and you know I think that's just journalism as a whole, potentially. And I think that's where my audience have been so tapped into what I say, because I don't necessarily use the language that minimises the issues that women go through.
Can I just say, I actually think this is a huge issue, and something that I really take serious as a journalist as well. I think often when you see like these like really horrific like violence against women crimes, we've got to be so responsible in the way that we talk about it. I think it's a really, really big deal. Is there any stories that you think that we should be covering?
Ooh, that's I feel like that's a tough question. No, I think I just want to see more stories about women and women's health and women's sport in mainstream news.
We can do that.
Sport.
Well, there's a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, maybe on my side of the algorithm on social media is not necessarily happy to see that. But I think particularly for the young version of me that was playing sport growing up, I definitely would have wanted to see more of that on TV. So
Did you play much sport growing up? Or?
I was a big football girly growing up.
Were you?
Yeah, and I think that at that moment in time there wasn't as many opportunities for me to continue playing football or to advance in that. But maybe if you guys are around, that might have been a bit different.
Yeah, because I love sport. I love watching sport. But I was that classic girl who didn't play sport at school. Really? And I wish I had. I really wish I had. Playing. Yeah, I think now, if I was born now, if I was like 10, 20 years younger, I think I would. And I do think it's a bit sad.
And do you think in today's world you would have had all the opportunities, or still not enough of them?
Well, when I was growing up, girls just played kind of girl sports.
Yeah, like netball.
Yeah, like netball, hockey. That was it. Whereas now, you know, you can play football, you can play cricket. Like, I think women's cricket is like really exciting at the minute as well. You know, you could play basketball. I just think that there's just so many more opportunities, different sports.
Do you know what Sophie's annoyingly good at? Is the fantasy league. Yeah. She's like about 400 points ahead of me already.
I'm really good at this.
I don't actually know how
it's like my best skill in life.
Maybe you need to include this on the morning show.
Well, no, I was intending to, but I'm not anymore.
We should do updates.
She's way ahead.
We should do updates every day of how
Honestly,
we're doing, like a
how
leaderboard.
many points are you on at the moment?
I'm not sure.
But it's like literally like way ahead of me.
This is like the least cool thing ever, though. It's basically like being a massive football nerd.
But we are unapologetically nerds.
That's true.
We say this plenty of times.
I think that there should be more people being proud to be nerds.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool when I was in school, and I think it should be cool now. What made it feel like now was the right time to co-host the show together?
I think people want different things from TV now. The live TV proposition is like super important, obviously, and it'd be lovely to sort of create a bit of an audience there and to be allowed into people's living rooms at that time of the day. But also people want, you know, you will be able to kind of give people podcasts or social media, or be on YouTube as well. So I think it's all about, you know, trying to find the audience where they are as well in this time where it's all kind of changing quite a lot. Because you say there about, you know, younger people accessing news in different ways, which is completely true, but they're still really engaged in the news. They care about the news. And I think this is something that, you know, it's really important to make clear. You know, people are not sort of turning away from traditional media because they're not interested. They are interested, but they're accessing news media in different ways.
And I think, we've got a podcast as well, Cheat Sheet, 10 minutes, 5 stories in your feeds by 6 a.m. But the show itself, I think, will lend itself to lots of great social media moments.
I think the most exciting thing for me is that, having news created by content creators like myself on all these platforms is great, but obviously not everything is necessarily fact checked.
Yeah.
So that is where you guys will come in to be able to do that fact checking and going to where people are.
Yeah. What you guys, I think, have done is kind of break down the barriers of communication. So you have this really intimate relationship with your audience, and I think that that's what we are trying to kind of learn from you as well, if that makes sense. So we can bring the kind of journalistic integrity and rigour, but do it in a bit more of a direct way, and as Wilf was saying, more of an authentic way, so that we can build those kind of communities, hopefully, and relationships with people as well.
A lot of my content is talking about what's happening to young women, and obviously with Cheat Sheet being a top hit of stories as well as your guys' show being live, how are you going to be able to pick out what people like myself would consider important?
I'm really interested in this, and it's something that I've definitely tried to do in my time as a journalist. There are some big stories that we need to cover because people want to feel informed, but you also have got a platform, and then you can use that platform to highlight things that are important. Like, so for me, a lot of that is violence against women, and I've definitely tried to focus on that, throughout my career, and really highlighting some of those stories and the importance of it. And I would also say that as media, I think we need to be very aware that there can be a temptation just to focus on stories that matter to you, or stories that matter to your peers or people like you. And that's why I think, kind of mansion taxes and stuff like that often get a lot of focus when, change the benefit system don't, or VAT on private schools, for example, as opposed to, domestic violence survivors who don't have somewhere to house their children. And I think that both of us are going to go into this with an eye on those unheard voices as well. I think it's really, really important to make sure we don't forget that. And I need to make sure it's not always Arsenal, basically.
Yeah, well, Monday's
as a Liverpool fan, please, not always Arsenal.
Well, give us our moment. You've had a nice run.
You currently have your moment. I think you're still top for now.
We are, because we're on international break. That's why.
Enjoy that top spot for now. I can see the relationship here is going to transpire well onto TV, but I'm going to be heavily relying on you guys for my content through Cheat Sheet, so no pressure.
I love
whatsoever. But thank you guys for having me.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. It's been so fun.